that week, I guess, and we couldn't afford any extras. After all, we were all making $25 a show. Yeah. How far can it go? And we used cardboard cutouts as a poor actor was trying to make a long, serious speech.
Oh, I remember that scene.
There's a great ovation at the end of that scene. You'll notice that nobody moves. The heads don't move, but the hands are clapping.
Claws are really going.
I don't know. There was a college campus attitude about working at Dumont, too. I think not only were we together 5 days a week or 6 days a week, we used to go out together.
Right.
Double date, and then all of us got married, and now we're all dead.
Not quite.
But it was probably 6 of the happiest years of my life. But no matter what would happen.
Would you be good enough to remove the Ranger from the control panel?
Yeah, sure.
Will you go quiet, buddy?
At the end of every episode, Fred Scott would say,
"Well, Rangers, the plot gets thicker and thicker."
Will Captain Video and the Ranger discover the sinister trick that has been played on them? Or will Dumo's evil scheme succeed so that they sleep on into inertia and pass the dreaded perimeter?
Well, of course he will. That was one of the pleasures of children's adventure stories. We knew the hero or heroine would always win. Maybe not in that episode, but sometime soon. And the painted sets and the imitation ray guns and special effects were so real because we believed.
Many of the characters that I developed on the show defy explanation. I remember one of the most popular characters of all that I did was Hambone. You know, people often ask me, how did you come to think of Hambone? Well, I wish there were an elaborate and involved story, but it goes no further than having heard the music, the Hambone music on the radio. This is Hambone now, the way we finally got him to be quite sophisticated, and in fact, there are several Hambones. They were called the Hamboneers.
When I first went to work for Channel 5, actually, it was Dumont at that time. My partner and I, Paul Ashley, who was one of the greatest puppet makers in the world, he did a show called Rudy Kazootie. And Sandy Becker hired Paul and I to, Paul, to build a puppet for him called Giba Giba. And in the course of dealing with Sandy saw my crazy kind of shenanigans, and he suggested to me that I do his show. When do I start? And he had a suitcase in his hand. He said, he gets in the elevator, he says, you start Monday. I said, Monday? I said, me alone? He says, yeah. He said, don't worry about it, you'll have fun. I said, how long is the show, Sandy? He said, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And the door goes, Zot-dog. So the Monday morning, I got up extra early because it went on the air, I think it was 7:45. It was the sign on. And I get down there with my bag of props and all these sketches and drawings and things. See? That was the baptism by fire. And after 2 hours and 45 minutes, how I got through that day, oh.
Brush off the clouds and cheer up. Hey, put on a happy face.
Actually, I started out with 32 characters on the show. And I was able to get in and out of each one of those characters during a 1-minute commercial break. All the costumes were Velcro, and Carmen Gabia and I we developed a very heavy line, kind of cartoony kind of mask makeup that I could put on very quickly with Carmen's help. With the assistance of my buddy Paul Ashley, who played all the other characters. First time I did Bombo, the program manager came down and I asked for a prop cannon, which they didn't have the money for, so I built my own. I went out and I got a construction tube that they make big buttresses for freeways, and that was the shaft of it, and it was made of very thick cardboard, huge thing, strong enough to hold cement and concrete. And one of the stagehands, I forget if it was Big Ed or Little Ed, said, well, we'll back up the back of it, you know, and we'll put the flash powder in there. Well, what we created was, in essence, a real cannon.
1, 2, 3, fire! Ladies and gentlemen, wasn't that wonderful?
There, you idiot, in the cannon.
my goodness. You wanted this? You got it! Come on up. Somebody help me out.
We literally blew the control room window out, and the walls went wah, 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 wah. So the program manager, needless to say, Bombo will do no more explosions. You know. So Bombo didn't, but everybody else did.
Golly, I'm the luckiest man in the whole wide world.
All right, I'd like to say a few words about Channel 5 40 years ago. It was at 515 Madison Avenue, a very small little studio, and everything was live. We did our show there, the Johnny Olson Rumpus Room, with my wife Penny. In doing a variety of shows on Channel 5, one that we had was Kids and Company, with the still popular tap dancers, and an occasional baton twirler. You know, this kid is probably a 45-year-old, highly successful stockbroker on Wall Street today. All brought to you by a friendly goose.
Johnny Olson!
Hey, hey! Oh! Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Red Goose, and hi!
There's an old saying that the two things you don't ever want to do is work with kids or animals. Well, of course, we did all that all the time. And for the kids, it was wonderful. But the animals, there's a little truth in that.
This is Sidney over here, looking for something to eat in my pocket, as you can see. All right, Sidney. All right. Just take... Uh-oh, there goes my jacket. Sidney is a guest on Wonderama today, and if it seems strange to have a guest like this in the studio, the answer is we're not in the studio. All right, there goes...
I think the elephant won. We didn't have a lot of money to do these shows. And as a matter of fact, I used to take up a collection from the kids, you know, buy props. And so the acts we got were not really the top acts. Okay, I'll admit that. They weren't the acts that were going on Ed Sullivan. But we did what we could. And this one, for instance, was a dog act. And then, you know, hey, a trained dog that would do work and jump over the kids seemed like okay. It would fill a few minutes. So I figured, okay, we'll book this act. And this is the way a cheap act looked on Wonderama.
Come on, sweetheart. Really, over the top. Come on, sweetheart.
A lot of memories about Wonderama, some of them poignant. And here's one of them.
You consider yourself a politician?
Yes. Being a politician is a way to achieve something. A politician is not just someone who runs for office, because then when that's over, he's supposed to be working for you, doing some things for you, and accomplishing something for the country. So I think it's something that you would like, if you become it, you should become interested in it, because it's going to affect your lives, and it's going to affect your children's lives, and what kind of a country this is going to be.
No review of programs on Channel 5, supposedly for young people, but perhaps more accurately for the child in all of us, would be complete without Soupy Sales.
The format of the show was interesting to the point where I was like basically a traffic cop, because it was things that happened inside my house. All I was trying to do was to get through the day. And I became Mr. Everyman. Like after I got through working out with the dogs up in front, I would say, now let's go to the words of wisdom. And we had great words of wisdom. And great words of wisdom like, be true to your teeth and they won't be false to you. And people who eat sweets take up 2 seats. I had puppets, White Fang and Black Tooth, and they were imaginary dogs.
Yeah? Does he sing? No. Does he dance? No. Does he tell funny stories? No. Why bring him in here? I have to. He's my manager.
The pies were very important thing.
The ascots are 13 and the crevettes are 36. What kind of score is that? It's a tie score. What? I don't want to have anything more to do with them cows. Why? What happened? Somebody gave me a bum steer.
course, we had a lot of people that got hit in the face with pies over the years.
They came in seeing you guys were eating here, and I went over there and he ordered pie.
I'd never come to this joint again. I'd like to see somebody do that to one of us.
Well, wait a minute. There were 3 of you and there's 2 of him. He's the one that brought the kid.
Wait a minute. I was sitting here with my daddy, and we ordered pie, and he comes in and he goes, pie! It's like that.
No, wait a minute. I was trying to take good care of you. You wait just a moment. Hey, you can't do that to my leader.
There's your leader. No, there's your leader. No, I was just sitting here.
Just a moment. Wait a minute, Sonny, come here.
Nothing makes life in New York more livable than New York Telephone.
You know I can't live without you. I can't smile without you. I can't laugh and I can't sing. I'm finding it hard to do anything.
You know, whenever you pick up a phone and hear the dial tone, that's us at work. Because New York Telephone is always working, the same way we have been for nearly a century. Serving business with the latest technology and serving all New York Telephone customers with the best possible service at the lowest possible rates. Now, what could make life in New York more livable than that?
I'm finding it hard to do anything. I can't live without
New York lives on New York Telephone.
Can't smile without.
With this new price finder for specials, you won't miss specials. It's a new way to shop for bargains. The new Grand Union price finder for specials contains all the specials in the store, hundreds of them. Here's a sample. Lipton tea bags, 100 count, only $1.49 with coupon. Post Raisin Bran, 20-ounce box, just $1.59. Aunt Jemima Original Pancake Mix, 2-pound box, 79 cents. The Grand Union price finder for specials helps you find the best prices every day.
CM Magazine has got a fall for you. The brightest stars, the latest trends, the most exciting adventure. Fall into the habit with CM Magazine at its new time, 8:30 weeknights, following Rituals right here on Channel 5.
This is an early Dumont camera, and this is an early Dumont scientist who helped design it, and the TV sets. Dr. Thomas T. Goldsmith, a colleague of Dr. Dumont's, and from whom the network's Washington station got its call letters, WTTG. Dr. Goldsmith, what happened to Dumont Television?
3 reasons why the Dumont network had to give up. Number 1, they didn't have enough dollars. Number 2, the FCC didn't have enough channels to establish competitive networks in most of the major cities. And number 3, the radio stations owned by the other networks were a basis for expanding into television. Dumont didn't start out with a chain of radio stations. So those 3 reasons are why the Dumont network had to fold up. But it still continued with Metro Media, which is an independent network now, and the Dumont stations turned over to Metro Media, and the spin-off in 1955 started Metro Media, which has expanded under John Kluge into a tremendous operation.
Looking back, Dr. Goldsmith, what would you say is the most exciting moment for you personally in television?
We were doing the Yankee Stadium baseball games up there. We were setting up a new microwave on top of the roof of Yankee Stadium. And I was personally adjusting the transmitter for that thing. I reached over on the knob to change the gain level. Fortunately, I'd put an insulating handle on that knob, and the power supply took off at that time and sparked 1,000 volts, 2 amperes back of it, and knocked me 15 feet across on the roof, not quite over the roof. Well, that was a kind of a scary situation in early television.
Thank you, Dr. Goldsmith. Glad you're still with us. Glad you didn't go over that roof. But talking about the Yankee Stadium leads us rather smoothly into the staple of early television, sports.
When you talk about television and sports, in 1946 compared to 1984, it's two different things. The sophistication of today is something which is accepted as